It's all a matter of, like, do you want to go into the water? Do you want to stay above the water? I haven't figured that one out yet.
Do you think you'll be writing a book about that soon?
You got to learn from everything. You got to learn from everything. So you want to stay above, you want to be within. So you want to do both, right? I guess that's what skipping the water is. You go within, but above at the same time. Something like that.
Based on that advice, I realized I needed a new approach. And since most of my life's work had been uncovering and fixing errors, or bugs as we call them, in computer programs on Wall Street, I decided I would focus on the main bugs that were causing science and religion to appear incompatible. It must have been a good idea because as I roamed around the camp formulating my new strategy, I accidentally stumbled on a stairway to heaven.
I would never, ever recommend that they give up land that they've paid for how many times over in blood and sweat and tears.
And there was Israeli over here out in the Catskills. Nobody ever heard about it. Nobody maybe will ever hear about it. The only ones who know about it is just you and me, but also somebody else.
We've stopped our studies in order to gather and talk about this, which symbolizes in itself how serious and how great this issue is. We're a person who has freedom of choice is assisting the evil decree of dismantling and taking away Jews from their homes and giving away sections of Eretz Yisrael to an enemy. Whenever we gather together, we try to bring together the three pillars upon which the world stands: Torah, Tefillah, Tzedakah.
And the Rebbe told him very clearly, he said to him, you speak Arabic, go and ask the Arabs. What will they say? What are their intentions?
If we had ever paid attention to the guarantees and the promises of the nations around us, we would no longer exist.
فاليهود هم اليهود هؤلاء هم الذين يجب أن يذبحوا.
And all we really have to go by is really stand on our own two feet, follow that which Torah says, and certainly when it comes to protecting and preserving the Jewish life.
الموت لإسرائيل.
Against it. He says the security of Eretz Israel is from the Rebbe, but we have to do whatever we can in our ability.
הרשו אותנו מהבית, אנחנו בלי בית. הבית הכי טוב שלנו זה הידיים של הקדוש ברוך הוא.
The heart of kings is in the hand of God.
There is an area called Nitzanim, which is supposed to have temporary housing for up to 2 years. At the moment, there are 33 built, but they need 400, so you can do the math yourself.
Any one action, just one action, that you're going to do is going to tip the scale. We just do what the Eibshter wants us to do, and then the Eibshter will do what we want him to do. That's what Israeli is all about, and the rest is up to each and every one of us.
In the Tanya, that's one of the books of Hasidus, right? Are you familiar with that book? Okay, well, it says we have two souls. Have you heard that? Oh. Well, one of the souls is a godly soul, and the other one is an animal soul. If you were to identify with an animal, what animal would you most likely be?
A lion. If you test a lion, if he's hungry or if he's angry, grumpy, he's the most ferocious thing. You don't want to mess with him.
I'm tempted to say a dog, but for the fact that I like the coyote on the Roadrunner and Coyote show so much, so I'd say a coyote. He was clever, cunning, and he never quit. Above all, he never quit.
I believe the human is an animal. So, I mean, if I had to therefore pick one, I guess I'd pick the monkey or something that's closely related. But
what animal would I be? That is a tough question.
Which animal?
I would like chickens. Chicken Scotia.
I really related to something of a bear, because when I could really focus on something, then my animal soul, like, it'll go dormant for a long time. But if I poke it with too many sticks, it'll get very angry and it'll start flaring up. And
the animal soul would more correspond to an animal that I wouldn't appreciate myself with me. Yeah. Like, for example, a fox, or being very sneaky, or a snake, or a pig, or something like that, without offense to those animals.
That's a tough question. What animal would I most identify my animal soul with? I'd have to say an eagle.
The Torah is ruled to be like water, so a Jew is the same thing like a fish. If he's not in the water, if a Jew is not in the Torah, he can't live.
What animals are they? All of them. I am just an animal.
All I know is that we have a nefesh, a Bahamas, and a nefesh, a lokis. And when we're doing the good things, that soul is happy and so on. And when we're doing the other, we're talking like an animal. And the world shows that we can be like animals. And that's the awful thing. And the little bit of Hasidut that we would learn would help us to be a little bit more spiritual, I think.
I should be like a lion towards going after Torah.
In America, there's a saying that love conquers everything. That is a big lie. That is a big lie. Because right now we live in a society in America, it's 55% divorce rate. A young lady comes along and says to you, listen, young man, I'd like you to give me your wallet, your bank, your body, your soul, your physical, your spiritual, your emotional, your sexual. Yes, lady, excuse me, did you ever learn about marriage? No, I went through the American system. We go through 12 years of school. We don't give our kids one class to have interpersonal relations.
What were you expecting? A hippie drum circle around the campfire? I don't know, maybe. Maybe some chanting the bingies or a bunch of cymbal crashing Hare Krishnas? No, you know. But we're always in here. Well, what then? What's so spiritually disappointing about this place that you need to leave early? I just feel so far removed from the source of my inspiration. Yep, I knew it. Hi. Well, that is ultimately why we're here, isn't it? To get the girl.
If it's heaven and earth, if it's spiritual and physical, if it's body and soul, if it's man and wife. Every thing was created to have a partnership.
So you're giving up and going home? Well, no. I may be going home, but I'm not giving up. I'm just reorganizing. What, your closet? No, my master strategy. Oh, dynamite, Napoleon. So many a great man conquered the world from their bed. I don't need the world. I just need the one girl. But in our head, she is the world. Too true.
The real question is, at what point in time should I look for a wife?
Actually, I am 37. I probably should be married by now. I can barely take care of myself. I definitely, of course, plan to get married. Realistically, in the next 5 years, I think.
Someone brought him to Asia Torah in the Upper West. and I come there with a few friends that same day.
Well, one with basically significantly traditional values.
And then somebody introduced us, and from that evening we didn't see each other for like half a year. Only half a year later, we met again.
He was looking for me.
Doesn't mind the concept of having a big family.
In a Hasidic family, where the average size family is, 6 children, 8 children, 10 children, 12 children, 14 children, depending on what the situation is.
Each child that we bring into this world is a blessing and helps us to come bring Mashiach closer, because it says that all the souls that are in heaven have to come down to earth before Mashiach can come.
My feeling is that we have to follow the one who created the world, which is Hashem. And Hashem tells us in the Torah that we don't practice birth control.
1 is 2, 1 is 9 months, 1 is 4, 1 is 6, 1 is 8, and I'm 10.
We had 4 children, Kanina Horror, but so far, for the moment, I've got 20-something, I think 25, 26, at least, and they're finished for the moment. And the great-grandchildren are coming. There's quite a few of those as well, thank God.
Can I ask how many souls you've brought down into this world?
We are in her 8 boys and 7 girls.
And how many grandchildren?
We don't count them, it's never enough.
But God willing, when they grow up, then I will be able to see the nachas from all of them. And, there's a lot of very nice things about it.
God says it's not good for man to be alone. We're going to create a helper opposing him. Now, Rashi has a problem with this. Rashi is the #1 commentary on the Torah. Rashi says, Zachar Ezer. If the person is Zachar, if the person is meritorious, you have merit, then your wife is going to be an Ezer, is going to be a helper to you.
My wife said to me when I started to do this, she said, look, I don't know if I can follow you on this path. I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm going to support you and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. Of course, now, I'm chasing to catch her.
Loi Zachar, if you're not meritorious, Kenegda, it's actually going to be an opposition, and then adds the word Lihilachem, to go to war.
I bought a car. She liked it. She drives it. I got a hot tub. She liked it, so I can't use it anymore because she and the girls are in it. I got Torah. She took it away from me. She's using it. So I got to come up here and hide with the guys.
It's Ezer, it's Kenegdai, it's Lihilachem. There can be war in the house, no matter what the situation is. My wife challenges me, but you know what? She's my helper, but I'm committed to make it work.
Well, good luck with your new master strategy. I'll be here learning Torah. No, you're coming with me. Oh, am I? Well, we may have 2 minds and 2 souls, but we've only got the one body. And I say the Kaylee stays here. And I say it goes home. Fight you for it. Bring it on, Yaakov. A biblical reference. You did learn something here. Bite me, fanboy.
At this point, and before revealing the greatest bug facing mankind today, I was inspired to tour the Catskills with my wife. I hoped that I could escape the feeling that what I was doing, if acknowledged at all, would just be labeled unscientific. In the meantime, we explored an abandoned campsite. But the ruins only served to remind me that we were in the 9 days, a time of mourning over the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, God's holy temple. We continued on to find a secret waterfall. We picked vegetables, and we checked out an animal farm. What were these creatures telling me, I wondered? If only I were King Solomon, I'd be able to understand their language. Instead, it looked like a big black pig was blocking the path to my goal.
Especially that 9 days.
You know, we don't eat meat in that 9 days. We don't see televisions. We don't hear music. We don't go to the, you know, all the things what we have a whole year is not allowed to have in that 9 days.
Gemara finishes off and makes here a comment. Tanya Omar Rebbe Lozer said, Beyurei, give a look and see. Kama gdeila kecha shel busha. How powerful is when you embarrass someone. What happened here? How it started the whole story? Because Bar Kamsa was embarrassed by this guy. And the Chachomim, for some reason, didn't do anything. What the Rebishter did, he helped him out, Bar Kamsa. And the Rebishter destroyed his own temple. Sharisi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Rebishter helped out this Bar Kamsa. The Hechev is basically, he destroyed his own house, the Saraf is Echole, and burned his own temple.
The real big campaign of Mashiach started with the Gulf War, and that was in Tafshin Nun, 1990. The Rebbe said, so now is the time to tell the whole world that the time of the redemption has arrived.
By the end of the day, there is no Yiddishkeit without having our main common goal in mind, Mashiach. That's it. We say every day, Ani Mamin Emunah Shalem B'Vias HaMashiach. Every day we wait the coming of Mashiach.
Because it's written that when the Mashiach comes, everybody will know.
And it's also said prophecy will be returned to the people right before Mashiach comes. The Rebbe was a proven prophet. For instance, 1986, he prophesied that very soon that the Jews would be able to leave the Soviet Union. 5 years later, they all left the Soviet Union, which for decades, for nearly half a century, they hadn't been able to leave.
The very first mimer that the Rebbe spoke to us was the 7 generations. That we are the 7th generation. We will see Mashiach.
Chabad is bringing people closer to Judaism. Chabad is putting tefillin on people.
Really, for some reason, I really like putting on tefillin. I get excited to put on tefillin in the morning. I don't know why, and I can't wait to put it on the next day.
What did you just do?
I connected my mind and my heart to God.
They're making people become Baalei Tshuva. Why? Because they're following the directives of the Rebbe.
Wherever you are, you have to turn on the world and get the whole world ready for Mashiach.
What does "do not eat the limb of a living animal" mean?
That means that there are some people that take live animals and they just rip them apart. That means, and they eat it.
No.
In history, we've known about them. So.